What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday night. You know what Wednesday night means. We are back with a brand new episode of Bassin and Castin right here on the USA Bassin network of things. My name's Chad Brock. Nobody knows really what I'm doing here, but over here, the guy, they drive, he invented winter shorts. They drive from hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of miles around to fish his tournaments. Chip Ayers, how are you doing?
I'm doing good tonight, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing, man. I'm doing. It's
All right.
it's a new week and a brand new episode. It's been 2 weeks already, if you can imagine.
It seemed like it was just the other night, and you know what? Here in another week, there's going to be a whole bunch of us in the bluegrass state.
Yeah, bunch of us.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a wild time, and that is for sure. And guys at home, that's kind of what this here episode it is. That this is episode 13. Unlucky 13, or
lucky 13, lucky 13,
whichever you want to call it. Lot to unpack. A lot to unpack to kind of go back, talk about the last few episodes that we've had. And then we've got everything that's going on now.
Yeah.
Coming up.
It's just there's tournaments happening. There's tournaments that have happened. There's fish being caught. There's fish to catch. There's a couple boats that are going to go to some new owners. We got a lot, like you said, there's a lot to unpack in the next 10 or 14 days, man.
There is. And let's start with some of the divisions that have been going on right now. I mean, it seems like Bassin Country is off and running all over the place. I mean, the schedule last week when I posted it to social media, it was literally exploding with tournaments.
They're happening everywhere. They're happening absolutely east to west, north to south. Just about every USA Bassin state right now has divisions going on, has tournaments happening, fish being caught, and there's some really good stringers that are coming across those USA Bassin scales right now. They're really good. I mean, they are catching them.
Yeah, and just a few. That's my dog, everybody.
That's the watchdog.
That's the watchdog. So let's head out to the great state of Kansas. There's a little tournament out there, KSO1, Kansas Small Lakes, Chip. It is a good little tournament. They got some fish. If my internet will load this tournament,
yeah, they've been catching fish. I'll be honest, out in Kansas, I kind of figured, Kansas maybe it's a lot like Ohio. They got all them, not a lot of big water until you get up around Erie, but they got a lot of little gyms running around over there.
Right. And so Kansas Small Lake Division, we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 guys showing up to fish this tournament. And, the weights ain't bad. 12.44 pounds and 5 fish limit.
That's a solid 2.5 pound. You can't beat that.
So shout out Brock Miller and Jeff Miller winning that Kansas division. It looks like that was their first tournament of the year. Their next one is coming up on May 11th or May 16th, actually.
Okay.
So shout out Brock and Jeff, man.
Well, and that is so cool that it goes back to what we've been saying so long now about USA Bassin, that we've got everything from big giant lakes like Kentucky Lake and Gunnersville and all the way to this little small lakes like in Kansas and I know we got a couple of the Ohio River or the Ohio divisions. East Lake, they're going to start kicking off this week or this coming weekend. So I mean, there's something out there for everybody, and whether it's lakes or even there's some of the river stuff's going on. Chad, one that's got me, and I'll be honest, I'm a river rat. You know that I'm down here along the Ohio River. I'm a river rat, but there's a division in Kentucky that them boys are catching them. That Grand Rivers division there. They don't. They're out of Grand Rivers. It's Kentucky 35. They fish just the rivers. They fish below the Kentucky Dam in Barkley, and it's taken 23 plus pounds to win their tournaments down there. That's some stuff. And from what I'm hearing, talking to the guys down there, it's all smallmouth. I mean, you're talking 4 and 5 pound smallmouth, and that may be what we got to keep that off limits for this classic coming up, because man, there'd be a lot of guys trying to get down there to catch those fish.
I'm here to tell you, just this last tournament, the gap between first and second. Shout out Brian Godwin and Calvin Godwin, who took on first place the last tournament down there on April 11th, 21-7.
Yep.
So 21 pounds. But here, listen to this. Right behind him, Jeff Rowland and Larry Rowland.
Yep.
Coming in at 21-5, half a pound between them.
Yeah, I mean you're talking 2/100ths of an ounce separating them guys. Them Rolling Boys gave it all it had. Now I know they don't have one. I did some checking, and I think Don's next tournament down there isn't until May 9th, so it'll be after the Classic week and the Classic and everything that's going on. So hey, if you're sticking around down there, great time to go jump in there. You know, if not, man, and you like fishing that moving water, get on that Tennessee River. Get on that. I think the next one's on the Cumberland, which that strong. If you've never fished down there, it's a good deal. I fished a couple deals out of Paducah, and it's a cool fishery. I mean, it's a really cool. It's a lot like fishing the Ohio River, but it's got fish in it. So you know.
And here's the thing, you know, when you look at the results from the April 11th tournament, and yes, I got it wrong. It was way less than half a pound. I don't know where I was at with that one. I think I seen the 7 and the 2, and then I went.
Yeah. No, it was 200ths.
Hey, that's my fourth mistake of the week.
I make
about 1,000 this week, buddy. So looking at this list, man, I mean, you have got all the way down into 16th place with a limit.
Mm-hmm.
That'll tell you something. The fishing's
that tells
good.
you something right there. And like I said, if you've never fished down there, I know you're a kayak guy. It is some cool. They've got that ramp right there below the dam, and there's some current. I mean, there is some there's some water that comes out of there, but it sure makes those smallmouth bite down there. I can tell you that. All the way down to, and if you want, you can get up into Cypress Creek or Clark River and get down in there and get some largemouth if you want to do that stuff. So yeah, there's some pretty cool water down that way. So, but hey,
absolutely.
While we're on Kentucky, real quick.
Yes.
Got a message from Tyler Beefus. He was on the show a couple shows back. Tyler is running the Kentucky Seniors Opens out of Fenton, and he has. They had originally had one scheduled for this coming Friday, the 17th. He has rescheduled that. There's a scheduling difficulty. So he's had to reschedule that to May 22nd. So I think plenty of time. And I know Roger Pickard and those guys are getting the word out there, Dan Moorhead and all of them, but just getting it out there that, hey, the next one's not going to be until May. And by then those fish will really be that ledge bite should be on fire.
Well, I want to hit another one of these small ones here real quick, Chip, while I'm thinking about Linville. Shout out to the KY22 Linville Lake Division. Smaller division for anybody that's looking to, like maybe cut their teeth, get started in tournament bassin.
Yeah.
But you know what? These guys showed up. So shout out to the winners, the last winners on March 28th. David Grace and Joey Lacuno. I think that's how you say it.
Joey, jump on here if you're watching. Jump on here and let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know.
But check these guys out in Linville. They've got another one coming up on the on Lake Cumberland this weekend. So it's the Just got to zoom in here because I'm on my phone. I ain't got no glasses on. It's the Wattsboro ramp on Lake Cumberland. So that is the Linville division. They're going out this weekend, Lake Cumberland. Check those guys out. It's a little bit smaller division, but I guarantee you they're going to, if it's anything like what I seen coming in through the kayak tournament on Lake Cumberland last weekend, this thing is going to be absolutely fire, because I'm here to tell you, Lake Cumberland last weekend, we had 41 anglers in the kayaks, and they flat out caught them.
Yeah.
Flat out caught them.
Cumberland is on fire.
And they're on them beds.
Yep. A USA Bassin angler of ours that we all know, TJ Wilcher. I'm sure you know TJ. I saw TJ. TJ had some pictures up of some smallmouth that he caught just recently. It was something. They are biting. I saw Hunter Dixon jumped in there a little bit. Shout out Hunter Dixon. Got to throw that out there. The first Brookville tournament. Brookville over there, Eastern Indiana, gets a lot of love from the Buckeye State. Their first tournament's this weekend. It's out of Bonwell. Dakota Ball, Hunter's going to be there, I'm sure. They've been catching them over there. Talked to Dakota today, just kind of checking in on things. He said Brookville is absolutely on fire, and you can catch them any way you want. If you want to pick up that jerk bait and use that live scope, you use that scope, you can do it. If you want to pick up a chatterbait or one of them red crankbaits, they say a red 200 bandit kind of catches them on them points, if you know what I'm saying. They're eating that. Oh, and they're eating the Ned rig. So Brookville's on fire too. So shout out to those guys getting after it in Indiana.
And that's going to be their first one, right? The 18th is their first one.
This is their very first, and they're going out of Bonwell, which is an interesting deal. That's out of the dam. Normally everything runs out of Mid-Lake, out of Fairfield, but Dakota's trying to split stuff up. He's got a new sponsor for that tournament there, Small Town Sports. So we got to, thank those guys up there in Rushville for jumping in on that. And if you're in that tri-state, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana area, I know that those guys are going to catch them. The water temperature's up, and I see Brett's jumping in from down there in Scottsboro, Alabama. They're always biting at Gunnersville. Yeah, they do have their second one this weekend. And Brett's a buddy of mine, but what he says about them biting at Gunnersville, they are biting at Gunnersville. And I don't want to give anything away, but you might want to have some of them there wacky rig Cincos ready to go. So from what I hear, so another one that's it's not really my home. It's not really a home lake, but it's at home. Right here in the Bloomington area, Lake Lemon. Lake Lemon has been, we've talked a lot about Monroe. Yeah. Everybody's talking about Monroe. Let me tell you a little something, Chip. April 4th results. Lake Lemon ain't no slouch. 18 pounds, 47 ounces. That's Lemon, and it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better as the time goes on. It wouldn't surprise me at that next one if it doesn't take over 20 pounds.
Yeah, very well could. So shout out Lake Lemon, Nathan Pendle, Sean Gillenwater.
Yep, those boys. Nathan and Sean, they own a lot of titles from over there. They put in their time and they catch them over there. That's for sure. That's a strong group, and that's a strong lake. Another one of those little gyms in Indiana. It's not very many, not huge, but if you want to fish boat docks, if you want to fish lily pads, it's got it all. So yeah. 25 anglers showed up and fished that derb. So yeah, good shout out on that one. I think
Lake Lemon is definitely one that never gets a lot of sun, but
Right.
it is a great fishery. And for the record, 5 pounds, 575 was your big fish, and that went to Mike Harrington and David Smith. So
Okay.
there's some big ones to be caught in there.
Hey, I'll give you another one. Pull it up. I don't have my computer on that. Take a look at that. There's another little gem down there in Kentucky, Lake Bashir. I can tell you that we've got some stuff going on down there, and Bashir is it's something else. It's got the big ones in it. They're catching them in it. So I know old Chester Craycraft's down in that neck of the woods, and he keeps telling me I got to come down there and jump in with him, catch some of those big Bashir fish. So those guys have been getting after it. They've been getting after it since, and they're not used to this, but since the ice came off that lake down there, they've been catching them down there. So another big lake.
Their last one, Chip, April 12th. Let's just throw this number out there. 1833 took home the gold. That went to Chris and Todd Buckingham. I'm not going to butcher Chris's last name because I don't think I could say it on my best day. So shout out to those guys. Second place went to Adam, and I'm not going to butcher his last name, and Adam Cobb. They went to 1732 with the big fish for the tournament. It looks like a 589.
Yeah.
And that's going out to Wes Garrett and Chase Rickland. So that's what I hear. And it's one of them lakes that they just catch them up. There you go. We got Brian jumping in there telling us that lily pad. So, yep. And I was going to get to that. I'm glad John just threw in there, John Lemaster. They had one scheduled, an Illinois seniors. It's an Illinois seniors. They had one scheduled for the 4th at Lake of Egypt, but they had to cancel it because of the weather. So they're rescheduled. John rescheduled for the next tournament is the 18th, which is this coming weekend, and it's going to be at Cedar Lake. And like he said, he was telling me today, those fish are biting. So and they're doing a little bit of everything. The only thing on that tournament is you do have to be, both guys have to be, or gals, guys or gals, have to be 50 years of age. So they're earning those points also the old-fashioned way to go to the Senior Classic this fall at Katawa. So appreciate you jumping on there and reminding me of that, John. I had to know, but I don't. I'm glad you didn't let me forget. And if anybody else is out there with anything else, throw it out there. Let's get this. Let's just get this information out there tonight. So absolutely, love seeing everybody in the comments.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments. But hey, we've been talking a little bit about everything that has happened. Maybe we need to talk a little bit about what's fixing to occur.
Oh my! Lay it on them. Lay it on them.
I'm telling you, it's all going to start. It's all going to start about a week away, a little over a week away. Down at the as those boys call them, the Twins down there at Kentucky and Barkley, and those everybody and their brothers going to be heading down. Got to get a chance at one of them fancy, pretty new Bass Cat boats and all the money and everything that's going to be happening. It's coming up. It's going to be. We've got the Silver Cup next a week, starting a week from Friday. And tell them about the entries. This is kind of something.
Today was tax day, and I was sitting there. It was around lunchtime. I was like, I need to get a post up. What am I going to post today? So I made this call, and I did this myself. Called Jeff and called Scott, and I said, hey guys, what do you guys think about just extending the deadline? Let's just go a little bit deeper. There might be somebody that's sitting at home going, man, I just don't know. And maybe somebody forgot. That happened to us last year. We forgot. And luckily Miss Marsha was nice enough. But we pushed her past the deadline. We extended the deadline out to Monday the 20th at 11:59 p.m. So as long as you have that online submission done by
Yep.
midnight, well, 11:59
11:59,
on
59.
the
Yeah.
20th, you can fish. You can fish. You can still get in these two tournaments. The Silver Cup's obviously going to be, it's a big field, so
It's
you will
big.
be the last flight.
Yeah,
So you'll have some extra fishing time.
It's bigger than it was last year, and the Classic is right where it was at last year. But what the nice thing is somebody gets their tax refund, gets their tax check back. They may be like, hey, you know what? I got a little bit. I'm gonna go down there and roll the dice on this deal. Let's go down there and see if we can't get in on some of that. So I know there's been some big tournaments down there, and they're catching some big weights. Should I give up what I did some research and full disclosure
some details.
I am not. Lisa and I
now,
are
if you go down there and you lose, it's not our fault based on this information.
That is 100% true right there. And I'm not going to give up the guys that I talked to because they are fish. Some of them are fishing. Some of these guys are fishing the silver. Some of them are fishing the Classic. So, and I told them I wouldn't tell who they were, but they did give me some nuggets. So here we go. Number one, for you scoping guys, there is a minnow bite. And when I say minnow bite, I'm talking that jig head and a minnow. And they are primarily on the there's the new belt. They are on the smallmouth arbetten. But they're a little bit deeper. They're out there in that 7 to 11 foot. So you got to use your eyes, use those electronic eyes to find them. But they are biting that, and they're biting a Ned rig. So look for the Ned rigs. What they're even saying is look on the downside, on the down current side. So down current side of those points is where they're at.
You shouldn't do any of that stuff, guys. Don't do it.
Don't do any of that.
We made that up.
Made it all up. There's also maybe there's a chatterbait bite on those secondary points for those greenfish that are there. It is right there. That chatterbait bite is there on those secondary points. Everybody knows it. The yellow flowers. They're there. Now here's the nugget that I probably shouldn't be telling, but
you're gonna get some trouble. If nobody's gonna talk to you if you give up all the details.
Well, here's the big one. This is what I'm hearing. If you need that kicker largemouth, and I guarantee you I'm going to have 2 or 3 text messages, probably threatening my life, and they're going to come kick my dog. But
yeah, I totally get what you're saying. That sounds like an amazing pattern.
Rebel Pop R 70 or my mic again.
What?
Yeah.
That's the darndest thing. I can't believe they're using those.
Yeah. The Rebel Pop R 70s.
Isn't technology great?
That 70. Yeah. That 70 is supposedly catching some good ones. Some real good ones.
We're going to see how many people can read lips.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Here, wait a minute. Yeah.
We got props? Do you got props?
I wish I did. Here, if you can read my chicken scratches. P71.
P71.
There you go.
That's his numbers from bingo last week, if anybody's curious.
It was an old U-boat in World War II. Don't think anything about that P71.
There you go.
But yeah, that P71, from what I hear, it is producing some fish also. So take that for what it's worth. All you guys that are rolling in there and you're like, man, I don't have anything to go to. There you go. And you don't have to burn 70 gallons of gas to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. I think for anybody that's on the fence with this tournament, I know you and I had talked about this earlier today, and this has kind of been one of the things that we've been focused on in the kayak trail, especially down in Kentucky. When you look at monster lakes like Cumberland and Dale Hollow and stuff like that, like we haven't been doing like live awards. We've been doing obviously the podcast that's been on Monday nights, but that is saving these guys a little bit of fuel. But when you look at Kentucky Lake, the size of it, and these super lakes that are on the Tennessee River and the Cumberland River, you don't have to go far. No. You do not have to go far to find fish. You can probably fill up that tank and get by with practice a couple days, put a little extra gas in it, and then be good for the entire tournament and still come in with a limit. Are you going to catch a winning limit? Well, you could if these fish are moved up, if they're spawning, if they're coming and they're going. There's a chance. There's a chance.
I got to share this with you. Talk this week, and he may end up kicking me in the shins for talking about this.
Do I need to mute it again?
No. This is gospel. Here you go. Fellow by the name of Billy Briere. Billy's an Indiana angler. Billy is. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's tail, but Billy's a hammer. And we were talking about the whole Kentucky Lake and the gas prices and running. And, he said something that was really interesting. He said he fished 1 year. He's had 2 top 5 finishes in the Classic in the last few years. He said 1 year he ran all the way to Paris and finished 3rd. He said another year he finished in the top 5. I believe he said second or 3rd, and never left sight of Kentucky Dam Village. He could, may have been off a little ways, but he never left where he couldn't see Kentucky Dam Village. So, that tells you right there. There are some things out there, there's some brush piles out in front and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, those fish move around. I mean, they're getting moved around and they move around. So yeah, they're going to be in different places, different stages, and you'll find them everywhere. I mean, that's the way it was last year. You'll find them everywhere. Some of those big ones may be out on the main lake, but there's going to be some in transition as well. And I think that's an important key for anybody that's wanting to go just to have a good time, and take their shot at it. You don't got to run all the way to Paris, Tennessee. No. I know that's popular. That's a popular thing to say. Right. You don't have to do it.
No.
You can still have success.
Something else I wanted to throw out there, because it's a past guest we've had on here, huge supporter, huge angler in the USA Bassin world, Toby Korn. They're at Jeddah. Those guys are going to be open. They are available if you get down there. I know High Tech, yes. just south of the dam. And then, like I said, Jeddah, just right down the road in Calvert City. If you run into some issues, give those guys, either Toby or the guys at High Tech, get a hold of them. They're both huge supporters of our trails. They will do whatever they can to get you back on the water just as quick as possible. So
and let's while we're shouting out the marinas, let's shout out a couple of the tackle shops. If you guys get down there, you're needing something specific, run out of something. Fast Eddie's always great. Big supporter of USA Bassin down there. A lot of these local Kentucky guys, they sponsor them very, very, very heavily in the Kentucky Lake area. Hit them up. They've got about anything you need. But then just up the road from them is Kentucky Lake Outdoors there in Draffinville.
Yep.
And they've got the goods. They've got stuff.
And that place is that place is absolutely beautiful. Kentucky Lake Outdoors, if you're looking for it and they don't have it, you probably don't need it. I mean, that place has got it all. Just absolutely all of it. And like you said, Fast Eddie's, I mean, and while you're in there, you may as well get a pizza. I mean, stop in on.
Might as well.
Yeah, get a pizza, get a sweet tea. Just do that. And I heard this, and I haven't confirmed this. But if you're out practicing,
your house is open for business.
Yes. Well, It is as is, I believe, and I'll have to check on this, and maybe we'll make a post on this. But I think Buzzard Rock over in
yes.
I believe it's open, and I believe their restaurant's going to be open during the day. So if you're out practicing, you found them, or you're just getting hungry out there, you can actually pull up, get out, walk up, and get something to eat right there at Buzzard Rock on Barkley. So, shout out Buzzard Rock for getting with us and telling us that. So,
yeah, and I believe over there on the Catawba or Lake Barkley side in Catawba, I believe Hubie's is back open as well for anybody that likes going over to Hubie's for something. That spot is open as well.
Yep, Hubie's is there too. That those are shout out Justin out there at Catawba. Got a hold of us telling me Catawba with Tourism Commission letting us know that hey, that they realize, Chad, how big this event is, this week is, and they want to see you guys down there. So go in, get your local. Not saying don't go to the McDonald's, but try some of those local. Try some of those places.
So a couple other places in Droffinville that you guys should hit up. Definitely hit up Parcells. If you guys are looking for, some breakfast, something like that, they got amazing donuts, burgers. They've got a value deal on some burgers over there at Parcells, man. You can get like a ton of burgers, like 12 burgers for like on the cheap.
Yeah.
With fries. So you can feed the whole cabin for the week if there's only two of you.
Exactly.
On some Parcells burgers. And shout out Dub House Coffee right there in Draftonville. If you guys like coffee and you're in transit, maybe you're launching down south somewhere and then busting back up to the dam, hit up Dub House Coffee. Get a little pep in your step. These girls in there, they make the best coffee in the area. Best coffee in the area.
So now, the other thing, getting down there, remember, I'm hearing, I don't know, I haven't confirmed this with the marina folks yet, but I believe they're still doing some construction there at the docks. So use some patience.
Yes.
Use some patience at launching. There's some of that's going on. So there's some of that. Obviously, there's always the option of there's a lot of other smaller ramps around. So just whatever you need to do there, obviously make that happen. You can't forget either the buffet there at the lodge at Kentucky Dam. I mean, that Friday night seafood buffet is awesome, and they're one of our hosts. They're helping us out with everything. So shout out those gals in the lodge restaurant that they're going to stay late for us to get there and get something to eat. So,
and if you guys haven't booked a room yet, go to visitkenktuckylake.com, or if you go to usabassin.com and you flip open the rules sheet and scroll down, there is a clickable bar in the rules this year that has the link that'll take you straight to all the lodging for Kentucky Lake area up there around the dam. So take advantage of that. These people appreciate you guys coming here like you wouldn't believe. I mean, this is a big deal to the entire community, whether it's USA Bassin, which is one of the biggest things that comes there. We bring in a lot of anglers, Toyotas, it doesn't matter. Everything, anytime that you guys are there, try to stay local, try to support the local tourist economy. And man, it brings life into the community.
Yes, absolutely does. Absolutely does, Chad. And speaking of the community and bringing stuff in, be sure to while you're there, like you said, get your gas local. Get a bag of ice at those Fast Eddies and those places. Get your stuff, because they're the ones that they're supporting us and helping us bring this to the anglers. Without it's a well-known thing that without the sponsor dollars, this isn't near what it is. We can't do what it is, and those sponsor dollars, those come from those local businesses, and so we got to support.
Absolutely.
we got to absolutely support those folks and get out there and do all that. So
and there's ways to do it, like I said about Parcells. There's ways to support the local economy, and if your budget ain't that big, you can do it and still do it on the cheap, which is one of the awesome things about that area that we're in.
Right, absolutely. Well, Chad, tell
I want to throw something out there. I want to throw something else out there real quick, Chip. While I've got you here, this is a surprise to Chip. Chip doesn't know about this.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So the 27th, which I believe is a registration day.
Okay.
So Chip and I, we'll do a meet and greet right there. For guys that are coming, we will come. We're going to go to the Dan Brew House just down the road in Droffinville. And anybody that wants to come and hang out for just a little bit at the Dan Brew House with Chip and I, 7?
Sure.
7 o'clock. We'll Bassin Castin. We will be there, a little meet and greet for those of you guys that haven't met us that listen to the pods. We'll be at the Dan Brew House the 27th at 7 p.m. So come out, get something to drink. They have non-alcoholic stuff like Coke, and the food's absolutely phenomenal. They don't know we're coming yet, but they will. So come down there, support Chase and his business, and hang out with Chip and I for just a little bit. And business and finance will be there as well. Yes,
she will. She will be there. And I'm sure Marshall will be in the background somewhere.
He'll be driving.
Yes, there you go. So that will, as they say, that will be a time. So that will be a good one. While we're going to be there, we're going to be roaming around that parking lot after some of these days on the water. So get with us. We're going to be asking. We're going to be talking to anglers. We're going to be around. So find us in the parking lot. I'll be easy to find. I'll be the guy that's walking in Chad's shadow. I'm just walking in his shadow, but
you're a lot taller than I am.
So and see if there he's got his belt, got the belt, and I will have, if necessary, I may even have some P-71 Rebels for sale in the parking lot for a price. I don't know.
So that's why that bait's good. But yeah, so we've got it. Chip and I have got a couple ideas planned. We're going to be doing some live things that will. Obviously, the weigh-ins and all that fun stuff will be live as well. You guys will be able to watch that. I'll be running around with the camera in my hand, taking pictures, grabbing videos. You guys will get to see all that stuff like you're used to here the last year. So all that stuff's going to happen. But me and Chip are going to push the envelope, and we're going to stretch it to the max to see if I can break with the content. We're going to be trying to do some live conversations as you guys – come out, you've weighed your fish. We might have a little area set up where you can jump on. You can just jump on and
tell us about your day
with us.
Yeah, just
tell us about your day on the water. Obviously everybody's not going to want to do that. Some guys are going to have some bad days. They're going to want to talk about that stuff. But the opportunity is going to be there. We're going to do some live stuff right there at the weigh-in as well. It's going to be a show. It's going to be fun, and you'll have a live weigh-in. You'll have a live Bassin and Castin on location. And then I would say you're going to get to meet some winners.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to somebody that's going to be in that parking lot, and it could be you. It could be whoever this is watching tonight. Somebody is going to take the keys to, actually 4 guys potentially are going to take the keys to 2 brand new Bass Cats, and they're going to take them home powered by Mercury. You can't beat that, man. Not to ring our own bell here, but we're one of the few national trails anymore that you can still win a boat. It's just those opportunities are few and far between. And so, there's back when I started this crazy thing called bass fishing, that's how you gained. That's how you gauge the career, is how many times you fish for a boat. And
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, here's everybody's opportunity. We've got some seniors We got the senior classic in the fall, but this is our classic here. Speaking of senior, I know I saw Scott jumped in there. We got a couple senior tournaments tomorrow. We got one at Monroe, which has been on fire. And Lisa and I, it's going to be a short night for us. We're heading out here in about 6-7 hours. We're going to be heading towards Geist Reservoir for a senior open up there here in a little bit. So got the boat loaded up, and the dog's over here sleeping, waiting to pull out here in just a little bit.
Yep, and the weekly tournament schedule, I've got it ready. It will go up tomorrow. Obviously, we announced the extension on the registration today, and then we obviously have Bassin Castin tonight. So we can only post so many times in a day, and we appreciate you guys that are following us and liking everything that we're doing. But yeah, there's a lot. I know for sure we've got 3 more kayak trail tournaments going on this weekend. We're going to the land of misfit toys. We're going down to Patoka Lake. By the way, Patoka Lake's fishing pretty good right now.
I was going to say Patoka. There's been some, There's
been some things happening down there.
Patoka's turned that corner.
Maybe.
Look at
maybe.
At least it's trying to.
It's trying to. There's been
Kaiser. I'll see you tomorrow, Jason Kaiser.
Yeah, there has been some things at Patoka that's gone on the last weekend that make a fella go,
Yeah. I heard those rumblings.
And both in kayak and boat world.
Yeah.
I think there was a different trail down there last weekend, and I'm going to say, I'm guessing because I don't know the actual results, but I'm close, 95 inches.
Yeah.
That's close to
one of those things right there. Yeah, that's close to one of those things. What do you? I'm hearing. Everybody knows that the smallmouth have been established down there, but I'm hearing that there's even now getting to be
some big ugly ones.
There's some green ones that are floating around in there starting to be caught. So
yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting tournament. Obviously, this weekend across all of Bassin country, you've got a brand new moon coming in. There's going to be a front coming through Friday night, maybe into Saturday across much of Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and Illinois and Ohio. So there's going to be things happening. It's going to be an interesting weekend across Bassin country. Tournaments everywhere. You've got one. I've got one.
Yep.
Maryland, Tennessee, Kentucky. They're everywhere.
There's even one. We're kicking this around, seeing if we might point the rig south and be down on the Ohio River at Craig's Creek. There's one going on down in the old Big Muddy River. So they're everywhere. And like you said, this is what's so cool. And I talk with people all the time about this. But what's so cool is if you want to fish that big lake, you can. If you want to fish that moving water, you can. If you want to fish out of a kayak, you can. If you want to fish a small lake, you got a small rig, you can. You can fish if you're over 50. Why, you can find a division there. And the husbands and wives, that Indiana division, we got the co-ed stuff just coming right around the corner. So there's
fathers and sons
everywhere.
Fathers and daughters and
fathers, daughters, husbands, wives. Absolutely. So it's the opportunities are out there. The fish are being caught. Obviously, I mean, when you got places like, Lemon and Monroe and Grand Rivers and Bashir and Linville, all those places that we've talked about where they're catching them. And those guys are, those guys that know those places are just, they're there and they're ready to catch them. Man, get out there and jump in with them.
I want to ask you one more question before we go here. And this, are you surprised about how magnificent this year has taken off? And it's like, we could talk about Monroe or wherever till we're blue in the face, even Kentucky Lake, but it's not just those places. It's across the board. It's nuts.
I think we've got almost a perfect storm right now.
It's crazy.
Really, I think what we've had, we had. It was a rough winter, but it was a cold. I mean, we had some really cold winter. We had a lot of red kills, and so those fish, and then we had an early spring. I mean, I don't care if you're all the way from Scottsboro down there where they're having the Gunnersville this weekend, all the way up to northern Indiana, Illinois, heck, La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's been an earlier spring. And so it's kind of jump started everything. And I think it's just been the perfect storm there. I think
it's incredible.
It is. And I think, no, I don't think it's all live scope. I don't think, I think that plays a part. Technology plays a part.
Oh, it plays a part.
It does. And we could beat that dead horse, but technology is what it is. If it wasn't, we'd all be in rowboats with a sculling paddle, so, but
practicing scope.
Exactly. So, I think it's out there. I just think, I remember my dad, my grandpa used to talk about the good old days. And I think at some point when we're all old and gray we're going to think back that, what, back in
26 was a year,
2025, 2026, those were the good old days. Maybe we're living in the good old days. I don't know.
Well, and to have as many more people fishing as what we have right now than we've ever had, and to see the weights and the quantity of the weights that have been brought in over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And and Chip, like you said, it's been a ladder. It started in the south and it's just kept climbing north. Climbing north.
Absolutely.
And, we thought Monroe was kind of at its peak. And then there was a little IU tournament that went on last weekend.
Oh my goodness.
A little fundraiser for Indiana University Fishing Team. Shout out Indiana University Fishing Team. I'm a Purdue fan. 30 pounds. 30 pounds.
But did you see by who? By Blake. It was Blake and Rob, the same guys that were on 2 weeks ago. They went out. They started with 25, then they had 26. Now they dropped a dirty 30 out there. So I mean,
crazy.
We've got cream of the crop. We've got some. I mean, if you look at those, you look at that list of those guys at the Classic. We've got guys from all over, and they're hammers from everywhere. But hey, it just takes a little bit of stumbling on that right 4-leaf clover, and you're going to be right. Somebody's going to be right there. Somebody's got to win.
Yeah, and if you don't think Kentucky Lake's going to be a battle, just watch on the internet.
Yeah,
because they're going to show you.
If you can't make it down there, just like Chad said, watch. Hold on, because it's going to be something. It's going to be something. And if you're still on the fence, if you're haven't made up your mind, you got till now, thanks to Chad making that command decision, you got till the 20th. You've got till the 20th. So, and like Brian Sharp just put up there, USA Bassin, there's some hammers out there. There are some hammers in the ranks. So, be part of it. Yeah.
Well, folks, Chip's got to go to bed, and we got to wrap this thing up. So, work all week, clock out early on Friday, and go do some bassing this weekend. Get practice up. We will see you guys down there, starting with the Silver Cup and all the way through Classic Championship Week, whatever we want to call it. We look forward to seeing everybody down there, shaking some hands, kissing some babies. It'll be a good time.
Yep. I got to go tie on a buzzbait and a P70.
That sounds like a plan. Good night,
all right,
everybody.
man. We'll see you. Everybody at home, take care. God bless. We'll see you next one. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week. We'll be back.